Ladies and gentlemen, look at them now, stewing in their anger, simmering in their own regret. They thought they could play you, manipulate you, discard, but oh, how the tables have turned. Now they sit alone, fists clenched, eyes burning with the realization that you were the treasure they'll never possess again. The anger they feel isn't towards you. No, it's towards themselves. For their arrogance, for their stupidity, for letting someone like you slip through their fingers. They're furious, aren't they? Furious at the universe, at their own reflection in the mirror, at the empty spaces where your presence once lived. They want to blame the world, blame circumstances, blame anyone but themselves. But deep down, they know. They know they lost you because they couldn't recognize the rare, precious soul that stood before them. Now, they're caught in a loop of their own making, a cycle of anger, regret, and desperation. They're angry that they underestimated you, angry that they thought you'd always stay, angry that they treated your love as if it were something replaceable. But the joke's on them. There's no one else like you. They search for traces of you, in crowded rooms, in quiet moments, in the faces of strangers. But it's futile. You were unique and of a kind, a once-in-a-lifetime blessing, and they threw it all away. Now they're left with nothing but the hollow ache of their own mistakes. They want to scream, to shout, to lash out at the world. But anger won't bring you back. They know this, yet it doesn't stop them from trying to fill the void with rage. Rage at themselves, at their choices, at the fact that you're gone forever. Because this time, you're not coming back. They feel stupid, don't they? Oh, so incredibly stupid. For every moment they took you for granted, for every time they thought you'd tolerate their nonsense, for every time they chose their ego over your love. They feel like fools because they were fools. They gambled with something priceless and lost it all. Now they're haunted. Haunted by the sound of your laughter, the warmth of your touch, the kindness in your eyes. Haunted by the memory of what they had and the cold, bitter reality of what they lost. No amount of anger can silence those memories. They play on repeat, a cruel reminder of their failure. You were their anchor, their light, their safe haven, and now they're adrift, lost in a sea of their own making. Their anger is just a mask for their despair, a desperate attempt to avoid facing the truth that they'll never find another you. They'll tell themselves they're fine. They'll put on a show, laugh a little too loudly, act like they don't care. But inside, they're crumbling, because they know the truth. They know they let the best thing in their life slip away, and there's no going back. You've moved on, risen above their chaos, grown into the unstoppable force you were always meant to be. And that drives them mad. Because they thought they could break you. They thought they could control you, diminish you, make you doubt your own worth. But you proved them wrong. Your absence is their torment. Every empty moment, every hollow interaction, every failed attempt to find someone like you, it's all a reminder of what they lost. They're angry because they know they had it all, and they threw it away. They're angry because they know they'll never get it back. They watch you now from afar, burning with a mix of envy and regret. They see your strength, your happiness, your success, and it eats them alive. Because they know they had a front row seat to your greatness, and they walked away from it. They'll try to replace you. Oh, they'll try. But it's laughable, isn't it? Because you're irreplaceable. They can't find someone like you because there is no one like you. And that realization, that's what keeps them up at night. Their anger isn't just about losing you. It's about losing themselves in the process. Because when you walked away, you took their last shred of hope with you. You were the best part of their world, and now that world feels cold, empty, and meaningless. They'll live with this anger, this regret, this unbearable weight of knowing they ruined something beautiful. And that's their punishment. Not some grand dramatic vengeance, just the quiet, relentless ache of knowing they'll never find what they had with you again. And you're free. Free from their games, their manipulations, their toxicity. You've reclaimed your power, your peace, your joy. You've risen above their chaos, and that's the ultimate victory. Their anger can't touch you. Their regret can't hold you back. Because you've stepped into your greatness, embraced your worth, and left their darkness behind. They're stuck in the mess they created while you soar higher and higher. Their regret, oh, it festers, doesn't it? It eats away at them like rust on a forgotten blade. They wanted control, dominance, superiority. But all they've managed to dominate now is their own misery. Each time they think of you, it's like swallowing shards of broken glass. That anger they carry, it's a smokescreen for their despair, a futile attempt to hide the gaping hole your absence left in their lives. You were their gift, their answer to prayers they didn't even know they'd whispered into the universe. And what did they do? They tossed you aside like a child growing bored with a toy they didn't understand. But, oh, they understand now. They understand the value of what they lost, and it haunts them. It claws at their soul every waking moment. They see you in their dreams. Or maybe it's more like a nightmare. Your image unshaken, unbroken, untouchable taunts them. The memory of you has become their greatest tormentor, whispering in the quiet of their mind, reminding them of their foolishness. It's poetic, isn't it? The one they sought to diminish now looms larger than life in their consciousness. Each smile you wear, each success you achieve, each moment you radiate strength, it's a dagger to their ego. And you wield those daggers effortlessly, unintentionally, simply by existing. You've become a force of nature they can't escape. A hurricane of what-ifs and could have been that tears through their thoughts. They're angry at themselves most of all, though they'd never admit it. Anger is easier than self-reflection. It's easier to be mad at you for thriving than to confront their own failures. Their inability to appreciate you, their utter incompetence at holding on to someone so extraordinary. But deep down, they know. They know they're the architects of their own downfall. And what a downfall it is. Their life once filled with the warmth and light of your presence now feels cold and desolate. They thought they were clever, thought they'd always have the upper hand. But you flipped the script. You took your power back, and now they're left scrambling, grasping at shadows, trying to piece together a life that no longer makes sense without you. They'll try to act unaffected, of course. They'll post their pictures, flash their smiles, parade around as though nothing's wrong. But it's all an act. Beneath the surface, they're unraveling. Each forced laugh, each hollow interaction, each restless night, it all adds up to the undeniable truth they can't escape. They lost you, and they'll never recover. You were their anchor, their safe harbor, their compass. And now they're adrift, lost, and directionless in a sea of their own making. The rage they feel is nothing more than desperation, a futile attempt to find footing in a world that feels wrong without you. They won't admit it, of course. Admitting it would mean facing the truth. And they're not ready for that. But they're watching you. Don't think for a second that they're not. Every step you take, every triumph you achieve, it's a reminder of what they let slip away. They'll never tell you, but their silence speaks volumes. It screams of regret, of longing, of a wish to turn back time and make different choices. And yet, they remain trapped by their own ego, their own pride, their own inability to reach out. They'd rather suffer in silence than admit they were wrong. Admit they need you. Admit their world is emptier without you. It's tragic, really, but it's a tragedy of their own making, and you owe them nothing. You've risen above their chaos, above their games, above their desperate attempts to keep you small. You've become a beacon of resilience, strength, and unshakable self-worth. And they've become spectators, forced to watch from the sidelines as you build a life that's more beautiful than they ever imagined. Their anger is impotent. Their regret consumes them. Their desperation is palpable. They may try to move on, but they'll never truly escape the shadow of their mistakes. Every relationship they enter, every connection they attempt, will be haunted by the memory of you. Because you were the standard, the bar they'll never reach again. And that's their burden to bear, not yours. You've moved on, shed their toxicity, and embraced the incredible person you've always been. Their downfall is no longer your concern. You've outgrown them, outpaced them, outshined them. And that's the sweetest revenge of all. Let them drown in their regret. Let them stew in their anger. Let them fumble through their lives searching for what they'll never find. You don't owe them a second thought. Your path is clear, your future bright, your worth undeniable. And in the quiet moments, when their facade crumbles, when the weight of their choices becomes too heavy to bear, they'll think of you. They'll think of you. They'll remember your kindness, your patience, your unwavering love. They'll remember what they had and what they lost, and it will hurt. will hurt, but that's the price they pay. The price of taking you for granted, of underestimating your strength, of failing to see the blessing they had in you. It's a lesson they'll carry for the rest of their lives. A scar that won't fade. A regret that won't let go.